The President, underneath the Major Disaster Declaration, just approved 100% cost reimbursement for debris and emergency response for the next 180 days so that we can ensure people that money is not getting in the way of this response and that, the mission is taking care of people today, and the objectives are very clear.
So that means the money that Puerto Rico needed to put up in order to get the FEMA support is now being waived?
We're rolling. As I've been saying, we have never let money get in the way, and that's not the issue. Down the road, do we have a lot of work to do to make Puerto Rico resilient? I think absolutely so. Unfortunately, Maria was 1 mile per hour away from being a Category 5, the worst case scenario, and it hit a very fragile infrastructure. The power infrastructure, the utilities, everything about it. Telecommunications is incredibly, fragile. And so we're paying the price for it. But the federal government is putting all forces in a unified effort down through Governor Rosselló to be able to help these people. We have a long way to go, but the bottom line is that we are laser focused on fuel distribution. We have tankers going to 200 primary fuel distribution today with security. We're also reinforcing security. There are isolated issues of crime, but we have not lost security across Puerto Rico. We're also putting eyes on all hospitals, making sure that the hospitals are running. They have the emergency fuel to continue services. We also have a lot of commodities on site, and people have to remember, we were on the island before Irma. We had pushed a ton of commodities onto the island, not only before but also after Irma in anticipation of Maria, and we were backing that up. The capacity to get that out was diminished because many of the Americans in Puerto Rico have also become victims, so we're having to increase our forces to be able to get things out. But the bottom line is we are there, we are pushing forward. We have 16 ships currently supporting the effort, with 10 more coming over the next 2 days. So we're pushing forward everything we got.
You also tweeted last night that the media hasn't focused on Maria. What is it that we're missing? Because in addition to having our team there, we're trying to do everything we can. So what story isn't being told that you believe we need to?
Well, the bottom line is that Puerto Rico is being treated just like any other state, and we are pushing forward. We also can't forget that the Virgin Islands was also impacted very heavily as well by this event. And, there is misinformation that maybe we're not taking this response seriously, and that's not the case. We are laser focused. These guys are working around the clock. We are unified. We have great communication. I've been not only in touch with the White House, but also Governor Rosselló every day. I was on the island yesterday to reconfirm and put boots on the ground to ground truth things. So, when it comes to the media, we need you to know that we are working our butts off to help the people of Puerto Rico, and we're going to continue to push forward as much as we can.
And we sincerely appreciate it. Think about how hard you've been working over the last month. I want to ask, when you were there yesterday, did you get the sense that people want and are willing to stay in Puerto Rico? Because many who we've spoken to have said as soon as they can get on a flight, reach a family member in the United States, they're going to leave.
Right.
They are U.S. citizens. The United States could face 3.5 million people moving to Texas, Florida, here in New York.
Right. So obviously people are trying to get out of a bad situation to, temporarily find a more stable situation. As we know, many Americans on the coast of the United States have family and friends that live in Puerto Rico, and so some of that we're starting to see. So here's what we're doing. The air traffic control system into Puerto Rico was heavily damaged. So it prevents the amount of aircraft we can safely get into the ports. The other thing is we have to open up additional airports. So what we've already done is opened up Roosevelt Rose today. We're also opening up another airport in Aguadilla to make sure that we're utilizing two other airports to continue life safety missions and flights into, so that we can free up the commercial flights into Puerto Rico. So obviously people are searching for a better way. Is there a mass migration? I have not seen that yet. Right now I do believe that people in Puerto Rico want to be able to fix the situation that they are in and want to be there in their homes, and that's what we're focused on. There's going to be a very long-term housing recovery mission and a very long-term how do we rebuild the power grid, discussion that comes up to make it a more sustainable future for Puerto Rico as well.
Brock, thank you so much. Quickly, before we go, there's many people writing in and asking, how do they contribute? How do they give if they want to support Puerto Rico?
So right now, that's another big issue. Right now, I need people to go to invoad.org. Invoad.org. One of the discussions that I'm having with the governor is that there is not a traditional point into Puerto Rico, such as a Governor's Relief Fund. We are working with him now to build that website on his behalf. We are also, because if we put one number out there, it's going to be flooded with calls and probably ineffective. So we are working with Puerto Rico to establish that touch point to be able to flow people in, because we need the whole community coming into Puerto Rico. But right now I believe that the best thing to do is infoad.org, because we do have humanitarian efforts from non-governmental organizations that are finding ways in, and we are helping to prioritize that support coming in as well.
All right, Brock, thank you again for all that you are doing, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico.
Yep.